I have just had the crown put in and a really intensive cleaning at the dentist, and my mouth feels really weird. It feels really weird. So if I speak weird in this video, if I like bite my tongue out of nowhere or my tongue just doesn't do what I wanted to do, then it is because of that. Okay, I apologize. But hi, welcome and welcome back to Gavin Reads It All. Today I'm going to be doing, say I just bit my tongue. I just literally. So today I'm going to try and do the mid-year book freakout tag. I will link the original creators down in the description box. This is a tag that people do every year, usually end of June, start of July, where we check in on our reads for the year so far. And I kind of changed a lot of the questions as well so that I can also check in about my channel too and where my channel is taking me this year and some things I'm proud of. Just random little things like that would be so good to check in with. So this is like a mid-year check-in, and I do have, I think nearly every single year since I joined BookTube in 2019, I have done this. There was one year where I didn't. Maybe it was like 2021. I'll link all the other ones down below if you want to check them out. You don't need to. They're a bit old now. But we are going to get started. So if you like this video, please do give it a like. Subscribe if you haven't already. Use any channel high points if you have any too. And let's get into the questions. So I will also put the questions down in the description box as well. As I've said, I have changed some. I have taken some questions out that I don't think applies to me. There was like one about like fictional crush. And again, like it's hard for me to have a fictional crush unless I'm seeing them on a screen. You know what I mean? So things like that I've gone rid of. Anyway, the questions. Number one, how has your reading year gone so far? So it has been a pretty interesting reading year, I will say. And I was looking at the stats for the year too. And it's so funny because every single month I have gone down in like how many books I've read that month. It's just going down and down and down. So I'm getting a little bit concerned about that because I'm like, does this mean I'm slowing down? I don't think it's an indication of like any kind of slumping or anything. I don't think I am slumping. Like this time last year, I was fully in a slump. I was, but I feel really invigorated to read and create. So I feel fine. I don't know why it is that I'm kind of decreasing the number of books I've read each month, but here we are. But anyway, I have so far read 112 books this year. However, I have DNF'd 8 books. So that actually means like I've completely completed 104 books. Now the DNFs, some of them I got like halfway through and some of them I read like 200, 300 pages before I decided to give up. So like part of me wants to include them in the total number of books I've read because they do constitute a book anyway with the amount of pages I read. But at the same time, I'm unsure. So I'm going to say 104 totally read, 112 books knocked off my TBR. Let's say that. 112 books knocked off my TBR. And so in total I've read 36,970 pages, which is pretty good. That's including the pages I've read in the DNF books. It doesn't include, like say if a book is 500 pages and I DNF'd it 300 pages, then I just say that I've read 300 pages in that book. So it's not including like the 200 pages I didn't read. So yeah, 36,970 pages. And then I've read 88 novels, 13 manga, 3 manhwa and 8 novellas. So still the majority novels. Manga, I haven't read as much manga this year as I did previous years, but I would like to try and get that up a little bit more, honestly. So 62 of those were purely physical reads. 43 of them were immersion reads. So if you don't know what an immersion read is, it means that I read it physically and listen to the audiobook at the same time. So like my eyes are, you know, reading the words on the page as the audiobook narrator is reading them to my brain, and that's like my immersion reading. That is my preferred method of reading, honestly. So yeah, 43 immersion reads. And then I've only listened to 6 audiobooks, as in like the audiobook on its own. Like I didn't read the physical book with it. It was purely audiobook. And I don't really love listening to just audiobooks unless I'm doing some kind of hobby like building Lego or playing Power Wash Simulator or something, or cleaning or doing something like that. I don't like just listening to an audiobook because my mind will wander. So that's why it's quite low for just the audiobooks. But immersion reading is very high because I do love doing that. And it just means I can concentrate. It means I can lock in every single book that I read immersively. And then finally one ebook. And that ebook was an e-arc that I got sent to me from the author. Although actually that's wrong. I did get the ebook from the author, but that should be maybe like 3 ebooks because there was a couple of volumes of manga that isn't out yet that I read on my iPad. So yeah. Okay, anyway. Average rating so far this year is a 3.61 out of 5. And that is pretty okay. Actually, it's like over 3.5, which I think 3.5, if it's lower than a 3.5, it's like, say if I'm having a 3 out of 5 kind of year, it's a little bit it's still fine, but it's like average. It's more average, but a 3.61 out of 5. Yeah, I'm fine with that. There was one month, like one of my absolute goals this year was that in 1 month of this year, I want to get at least a 4 out of 5 average of all the books I read that month, because in years past, I feel like it's been so long since I've had a month where it's averaged a 4 out of 5. And this year, finally, I did. I think it was April. I think April, I finally got a 4 out of 5 average for the month as a whole. And then when I talk about the fact that my reads for each month has gotten lower and lower. So in January, I read 26 books. In February, I read 25 books. In March, I read 19 books. And then 17 in April, 14 in May, and then 11 in June. So it's going down and down and down and down. It's going way down. And that's not ideal, honestly. It's not, because I am feeling like very creatively invigorated. I do want to just like continue to consume and read books right now, but I don't know why that is. I genuinely don't know why. Maybe it's the pages. Maybe it's the page counts. I have been doing bigger books. May, I did do Mission Impossible, which was reading big books, so that would explain May. But June, I mean, to be fair, a lot happened in June. I feel like we all know a lot happened in June, so maybe that is another reason why I haven't read as much. And I did go away on location to film a Vlogs of Halloween video, so that might also factor into that too. I don't know. Anyway, we'll move on to the second question. What's the best book you've read so far in 2026? Now, for most of these questions, I have 2 books. I have 2 books because I just can't talk about one. And the best book that I've read so far this year is The Red Winter by Cameron Sullivan. I absolutely love this one so much. I didn't love the audiobook. I did have to turn the audiobook on because I was going to immersion read, but I turned the audiobook off. I just felt like the voice and stuff came across a little bit more silly than I wanted. So I read this one just physically. And this one, it is a historical fantasy LGBTQ plus novel. And it is about the return of the Beast of Gévaudan. And it's a very bloody, also like horror adjacent kind of novel. We follow Professor Sebastian Grave, who gets called onto helping defeat and kill this Beast of Gévaudan because he has a history with it in the past. 20 years before, there was this whole encounter there too, and I loved the sort of twists in this one. I love the way it was written too. You have a little bit of the current modern day humor mixed in with the historical, and you do get like the POV and timeline shifts that I really enjoyed as well. Sometimes that does take me out of a story if it's a little bit jarring, but I think it was blended really well in this. I thought it was beautifully written too. Like the descriptions of some of the like gnarlier things that happened just like gave me a little chill up my spine, because it was a little bit gross. Don't get me wrong, so gross. But at the same time, I was just like, oh, that's art. And don't get me started on the fact that this is gay. You know, this is gay. So of course, I was going to love it. Although that's not exactly true for every gay book I've read. But still, you know, I love this one so much. And then a really close runner-up as well. This was my first 5-star of the year, I believe. And that is When the Tides Held the Moon by Vanessa Vida Kelly. And again, this is another gay one. Like, we just absolutely love all gay books in 2026. And oh my God, I love the illustrations in this too. The author illustrates this themselves, and I'm just like, this is one sexy motherfucking book. It just genuinely is. And this, if you like The Greatest Showman, then this is like a beautiful kind of comparison that I can make to it, because this is set in New York City, early 1910s, and the vibe of this one, the atmosphere, the way that the historical element of this was incorporated. Look, I'm not a big historical reader, but it seems like my 2 favorite books of the year are both historical, and I'm just like, well, what? Damn, maybe I am a historical reader. I just need to find the good ones, you know? I need to find the ones that I really love, because sometimes they can... Anyway, that was going to go off on a tangent. But yeah, this one, absolutely beautiful. There was a question coming up about a book that made you cry. This one didn't quite make me cry, but it got me very close. It is very emotionally driven. Benny and Rio are our main characters. Benny is a human, Rio is a merman. And oh my God, like, it's just so sweet. And there was just like so much to love about this, like so much to love about this. The love story, the setting, just beautiful. Illustration, beautiful. What's the best book you've reread so far in 2026? Again, I've got 2 answers for this one. One of them is Gerald's Game by Stephen King. I first read this book when I first watched the Netflix film back in, when did it come out? 2017, maybe 2018, 2019. Whenever the movie came out, I read the book, and I love the book. I think it's great. I mean, I gave it 4 stars, so it's like not a 5-star read or anything, but oh my gosh, this is better than I remembered from my first time reading this. It's so visceral, and it is about a woman who is doing some coitus, or well, about to, with her husband, and he has, you know, chained her to this bed, and he ends up dying. He has a heart attack and dies. And she is left chained to this bed and she's got nowhere to go. So it's very psychological. It goes into her past. There are really scary, creepy things happening as well. And oh my gosh, like some of the worst parts of this was just how disgusting, well, not just like the backstory, like not just like the flashbacks of the things that happened to Jessie when she was younger. Oh my God, disgusting. But then you also contrast that with what's happening in the present when like this dog wanders in, for instance, a very hungry dog. And oh my God, like it is set in the one place, but I think it's just so brilliantly done. It could have easily been boring, but I don't think it's boring. I was locked in the entire time. It's so good. It is so good. It's one of those ones where maybe in retrospect I might bump up my rating, but yeah, just fantastic. And then another one, this is more like a guilty pleasure kind of reread of mine, and that was Heated Rivalry by Rachel Reed. I first read this last year, 2025, before the TV show started. So I was before all of those fake ass girlies who got into it. I'm kidding. But I did enjoy it the first time I read it, and I enjoyed it even more the second time because I just love Shane and Ilya. And as I say, like it is a bit of a guilty pleasure. I don't think it's the best written romance I've ever read, but it is gay, and I just love Shane and Ilya as characters. I love their romance, I love their chemistry, I love the whole enemies to lovers angle of it as well. There is a bit of a plot, the fact that they have to kind of hide their romance because they have this very high tension kind of rivalry on the skating rink because they are pro hockey skaters. So like they have this whole like world kind of rooting for their rivalry, and yet they love one another. You know what I mean? Oh God, it's so cute. It's so sweet. But again, it's not the best written thing I've ever read. Absolutely not. However, guilty pleasure. So a question I've added is, what is the best manga you've read so far in 2026? Freakout Volume 11, I gave 5 stars. This is the first Freakout volume that I've given a 5-star. In Freakout Beyond Journey's End is a fantasy manga series, and we follow Freakout, and she is kind of like off on a little bit of an adventure after like the big bad has been defeated from like her glory days. You know, she was with a gang of people back in the day, and with her being an elf, she doesn't really age. And so her companions that she had back then are, you know, older now. They are old, and, you know, this is more of like a summary of like what happens at the fairy star book, but we are 11 volumes in now. Well, 12 now. I've read 12, but volume 11 was a 5-star. And yeah, it's a beautiful, gorgeous kind of fantasy series that is just so adventurous. And when we get to this point as well, lots of action is happening. Yeah, I don't know how else to explain it. And then Witch Hat Atelier, I actually gave volume 15 and 16 a 5-star. This is volume 14. 15 and 16 aren't out in English yet, but they do come out weekly, chapter-wise, online, translated into English. And yeah, I gave 15 and 16 5 stars each. I love Witch Hat Atelier. The anime has just finished as well, season 1 of the anime, and I still have like the last 2 episodes to watch. But, you know, we do follow Coco. She wants to be a witch, and she ends up coming across Kifri through lots of different things that happened in the first volume, and she ends up training at the atelier that Kifri runs with some other young girls who are also aspiring to be witches. It's so good. It's so good. In volume 15 and 16, I gave both 5 stars. Oh my God, it was so cute. Like there was some like, I say cute, like there was some like flashbacks and things during those volumes, and it was so like so touching. And there was some like questions that I had about like Kifri, for instance, that I think those volumes really tackle very well. And I love Witch Hat Atelier so much, and I need those English volumes to be published quicker. I really do. Question number 5, best sequel you've read so far in 2026. I again have 2 answers. I just finished The Butcher's Masquerade by Matt Dinneman. This is the 5th book in the Dungeon Crawler Call series. I've been reading this series since 2024, right? And I'm only 5 books in. I'm about to start book 6, hopefully in the next couple of months. But I have been really savoring this series so much. This goddamn book, the ending, the cliffhanger, 5 stars, my favorite Dungeon Crawler Call book so far. Oh my God, I need to read book 6 immediately. Immediately. I can't live. How do I live? No, I'm not going to say. Like, how am I going to wait for book 6? I mean, I did read this for a sequels vlog that I've kind of just cancelled now. I'm not going to do it because trying to talk about this book was so hard. In the other sequels I want to read as well, it's going to be very, very hard to talk about them. So I kind of just cancelled that vlog, and I'm just going to read the Dungeon Crawler Call books in my own time because I just love the series so much, and I don't want to have to wait so long for a book to fit into a vlog, because that's exactly why I'm only 5 books in when I've been reading this, you know, series for a year and a half, nearly 2 years. So I need to get straight into it. But yeah, Dungeon Crawl Call, I'm not even going to explain it, what the series is about. I've explained it so many goddamn times that I feel like everyone and their grandmothers know what the series is about now too. But I have absolutely loved Carl and Princess Donut. This book, oh my gosh, especially with Princess Donut too. Like, oh my god, they're almost the chemistry is amazing. How much they care for one another is amazing. Princess Donut is a cat as well, by the way. If you don't know, Princess Donut is a talking cat. Carl is, you know, Princess Donut's kind of owner. Princess Donut was his ex-girlfriend's cat, but he looks after her now. You know, lots of events happen in the first 4 books. That means that Carl has to look after Princess Donut now. And oh god, like just the adventure, the quests in this is so exciting and fast paced. And it's just still so funny, and it still has me riveted. It manages to not be repetitive every single sequel that I've read, which honestly is a testament considering it does have a kind of plot that could potentially get repetitive by this point, but we are reinventing the wheel every book. So yeah, book 5, oh, so good. And then the other one that I've absolutely loved as well is Everyone in This Bank is a Thief by Benjamin Stevenson. I have loved every book in the Ernest Cunningham series. It is a mystery series. Ernest Cunningham is a writer, and this has, again, like such great humor. And this one is so theatrical though, like it can get a little bit bonkers and maybe a little bit unrealistic. But one thing I love about this kind of murder mystery series is the ridiculous side of it as well, and just how bonkers it can get. There was a whole scene, you know, in a kind of funeral, and that was just so funny. It was so funny. And the characters who are recurring as well, so say Ernest and his fiance, I love seeing their relationship develop over the course of now 4 books. Although this is the 3rd full book, there was a Christmas novella before this, but even so, like the character development has been great. The mysteries continue to be very captivating. So I'm just hoping the series doesn't crash and burn. I don't know if there is another one. I don't know if another one was announced. I hope so. I would like the series to get, you know, a few more books in it. But yeah, 2 sequels that I've loved so far this year. Question number 6, what is a new release you haven't read yet but want to? I have 2 answers for this again. One of them is Slasher Summer by A.L. Chen. A huge thank you to the publisher for sending me this. I don't ever, you know, accept publishers to send me anything or anyone to send me any books. I want to get them myself. But if there is one that sounds just right up my street, and like I had my eye on this anyway, I actually wanted to take this with me to the Scream House back in March. However, this has only just come out and I only got this sent to me last month. So I never would have had it in time, but I have had my eye on it. It looks very Scream-esque. I am getting a little bit sick of books being described like Scream, to be quite honest actually, because I've read a few now. And then I finished them and I'm like, that is so disappointing. And in fact, I'm going to talk about one soon. But anyway, Slasher Summer, I'm really excited to give a go. This one feels a little bit more like Friday the 13th. It is set at a summer camp in the 1980s. It's where a cult B-movie called Slasher was filmed. And yeah, 7 old friends reunite there. A mouse figure is spotted in the woods. Slasher antics ensue. So excited to read this. So excited to read it. Love the sprayed edges so much. And then another one is Bone of My Bone by Joanna Van Veen. I do have plans to read this one this month. I'm filming this on July 1st. I do have plans to read this month for a very special video. So I'm really hoping that I love this one. I did absolutely love Blood on Her Tongue by the same author. I read that last year. So I have very high hopes for this one. It's set in 1635 and this one follows a nun. It follows a nun. Like, I wish I'd say, this didn't come out but you know when I did my Haunted Nunnery video, this could have been so good to have read then. We have Sister Ursula and Elsebeth, who is a peasant. So Ursula is the nun, and they escape into the forest. They're being chased by like soldiers and stuff. When they go into this forest, they find the gilded skull of a saint, and it's said that if this skull is reunited with its body, then a wish could be granted, or something like that. It sounds so good, and I do have a plan for it. It's going to be great. Question number 7 is, what is your most anticipated book for the second half of the year? And I probably should have just taken this question out because I actually don't know. I don't really keep up to date with new releases or upcoming releases. I don't really pre-order that much unless there's a Waterstones double stamps weekend. I can't think of a single thing. I can't think of a single thing. So I want to skip that question. Question number 8 is, what is the worst book you've read so far in 2026? You know what's crazy is I haven't rated a single book below 2 stars this year. The lowest is 2 star. Usually by this point, I've read at least a couple of 1 stars, but nothing quite 1 star. And so I was wondering what book I would say for this question. However, I feel like this is definitely my worst book of the year, and that's The Sign of Four by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. This is the second Sherlock Holmes book, and it just really didn't feel like Sherlock Holmes. It was so bad. It was so problematic as well. A few things. I hated the mystery in this. Hated that Sherlock Holmes is kind of like sidelined in this. Hated like the flashbacks and all of that. Hated the problematic elements of it too. And honestly now I'm thinking, should I just give it 1 star? I might just give it 1 star because I didn't like a single thing about it. I didn't even find the main mystery captivating at all. I could not have cared less. It was just so bad. It was so bad. And especially considering I really enjoyed the first Sherlock Holmes book. And then this one comes along and I'm like, oh, this is my impression of you and you're letting me down. So not an entertaining read, not an enjoyable read in the slightest. Yeah, just did not enjoy it. And, you know, it's only been a month and a half since I read it, and I already don't really remember a whole great deal about certain elements of it, and that's because it's just so forgettable. So forgettable, but so problematic and so bad. I really didn't like it. What is your biggest disappointment of the year so far? I have two. So one of them is Breathe In, Bleed Out by Brian Macaulay. I did have high hopes for this. I took this one to the Scream House with me to read at the Scream House, so I don't want to talk about this too much, because the Scream vlog will not be coming out until September for vlogs of Halloween. So I don't really want to spoil that vlog and say exactly what I thought of this, but just know that I'm disappointed by this one, okay? I'm so disappointed by this one. This was another one that was described to be quite like Scream, but did I think it was written well enough for it to be even remotely considered to be anything like Scream? Absolutely not. It was not good. It was not very good. And again, I think I gave it like 2 stars maybe. So not the worst. I didn't give it a 1. Even though I'm now half tempted to, again. I'll not say too much more about that one because I don't want to spoil that vlog. But the other one is Operation Bounce House by Matt Dinnerman. Obviously, Dungeon Crawler Call is one of my favorite series of the past, like 10 years, I would probably say. And so reading this one, I did have high hopes, and unfortunately it just didn't meet it. Like, this is not a bad book. I think I gave this one 3 stars. I really enjoyed the kind of exploration into environmental impact that this one had, and just kind of like the dystopian sort of take on it as well. But there were so many things I didn't like. Like, I didn't like the way that like the main character's sister was described and talked about a lot of the times as well. There were some things that just didn't sit well with me. It didn't have the same kind of humor as Dungeon Crawler Call, and it let me down, honestly. It really let me down. I had an entire book club discussion of this with my channel members, and yeah, I wrote juvenile because, yeah, that's exactly how this came across as. So much of it, especially the humor, came across as quite juvenile. And it was such a jarring contrast to a series like Dungeon Crawler Call, where I absolutely loved it. But I did love the exploration of war and kind of the unrealistic demands that one side has, and like the power that one side has over the other. And so there are like some really good things about this, and the depiction of people during a war who are totally innocent, you know? So definitely some topical things about it, but I just didn't enjoy, unfortunately, like the rest of it. There was so much of it I did not enjoy. Next question, what is the biggest surprise of the year so far? I have two. I have two again for this one. First one, My Husband's Wife by Alice Feeney. I am so sad that I actually gave this book away to a real estate agent who came to do the house check. I did bribe her. She was asking for a thriller recommendation, and I'd not long finished it, and I was like, you know what, this one's good. This one's good. You know what, keep it. Keep the book, it's fine. This is exactly what I would do. Like, say if a stranger came into my house and said, oh, I love your TV, I'd be like, take it. Take the TV, it's yours. So it's definitely something I need to work on 100%. But My Husband's Wife, it is a thriller book that I don't often read a lot of thrillers, but it had a really interesting premise in the fact that, you know, the main character, she's out running, and then she comes home, she's locked out, and then a woman answers the door who claims to be her, and her husband is also inside and is like, who are you? To the main character. And it's just like, okay, there's different like POVs and stuff. That was like really, really interesting. And I wasn't quite sure where the plot would go. I didn't find it predictable, which is great. The ending shocked me. It shocked me so much. Did I read that in a 24-hour reading vlog? No, I read it in TBR Traders episode 2, I think. So honestly, I recorded the end of it, my reaction to the end of it, and I was like, oh my god, that is interesting. Oh my god, that got me. So yeah, it was really exciting. I really enjoyed that one. I really do wish that I still had my copy of it because I would have kept it. It was the one that I never wanted to unhaul. And it was a independent bookstore edition as well. Oh. And then the other surprise was Diabound by Sable Sorensen. And again, like, this is not a great written book. There were some issues I had with it, and I detailed this in Impossible Toss, I think it was Mission Impossible, I think it was, I read that one in. Definitely issues with the plot, definitely issues with the world building. but I was so entertained. This was like one of the most entertaining books I've read this year, and sometimes that's exactly what I need. There's a set in a world where there are like these elite people who get bonded with direwolves, and Merrin is our main character. She lives in poverty, and she ends up having to go through like these bonding trials to bond with a direwolf. And there are like some sinister like side storylines that are going on as well that is really informative of like the background characters, the supporting characters, and the main motivations of our main character Merrin, like what drives her and the story there. And I honestly ended up loving this. I did, even though again I can acknowledge it's not the best written thing I've ever read, but I loved it. I thought it was so freaking good. Storylines again probably felt a little bit been there, done that before. I'm sorry, I'm sweating. It is so hot. I didn't want to film. I never want to film when it's too hot, but like I've got to. The show must go on. And until I think maybe like the last 100 to 200 pages, I was like, okay, it's like kind of going off a different course to what I usually expect from this kind of story. And it became its own thing. And honestly, I loved it. I did. I loved it. I thought it was so good. Question 11. What is your favorite new author, new to you or debut? Honestly, I would say it's Christian Jones because I got a arc to read Theodora's Tea Shop and I gave it 5 stars. It was so good. And it was so cool. Well, don't be misled. It definitely started out very cozy. It has those cozy vibes, but it's very much like House Moving Castle, where, you know, some parts of it is just not as cozy as you would think. But I freaking love that book so much. And I believe it's coming out soon, maybe this month, actually. I think it might be coming out this month. So I read it a couple of months ago and I just fell in love, honestly. There were some moments of it that genuinely got me so emotional. And the next question is like a book that made you cry so far this year. It didn't quite make me cry, but it definitely got me close. It got very emotional, and there were some characters who I just absolutely fell in love with and I wanted to protect myself, and it tugged at my heartstrings. It tugged at my heartstrings. Oh my gosh. But yeah, Christian Jones, yeah, probably a new favorite author. I've been following Christian Jones on YouTube for a long time as well. I've been watching her progress writing that book, Project Take Up, for years and years and years on her YouTube channel. She's a fantastic YouTuber, fantastic author. The first thing I've read from her, and I am just a fan for life now, genuinely. I freaking loved Theodora's Tea Shop so much. I cannot wait to get my pre-order of it as well. Oh, it's gonna... I just loved it. I loved it so much. So yeah, the next question is a book that made you cry so far this year. And again, very hard for me to cry. And Theodora's Tea Shop did come close as well. But another one that made me come close, I think it's Role Model by Rachel Reed. There is I'm not going to spoil anything, but there is a sequence with a plane. The thing is though, I can't remember who was in this one or in the one before, which is Common Goal. I know it's brought up again in The Long Game. But can someone let me know? I'm getting all, because I read all 6 of the Game Changer books in pretty much like a week or a week and a half, and they're kind of blurred into one a little bit. And so I can't remember if this is the one, but there is the one with the plane. Like, you know the one I mean. You know the one I mean. And there's just like a scene on a plane, and just like thinking of, you know what, maybe I should have said The Long Game for this, because I believe actually it's more in depth in The Long Game, and you get a certain character's perspective on something. Oh god, okay, yeah. It's either this or The Long Game, I can't remember now. But yeah, beautiful. And speaking of beautiful, question number 13, what is the most beautiful book you've bought so far this year? And it will probably still be Direbound by Sable Manson. This must be the most beautiful book that I own in general. This is from Fairy Loot. I did buy from Fairy Loot. Love the end paper too. Oh my god, like look under the dust jacket too. Oh stop, it's gonna make me come. And then the other end papers. Oh my god. So gorgeous. I cannot wait for the next one. So question number 14. What are the books you need to read by the end of the year? And I think this could be a good point to do a 26 books to read in 2026 check-in. So I've actually completed 12 of my 26 books to read in 2026 books that I needed to read by the end of the year. So I only have 14 to go. And that is so good, because I think this time last year I'd only read like maybe 4 or 5 25 books to read in 2025. So I'm doing way better than I have been. And I think a main reason why that is because I have gamified my 26 books to read in 2026. And I love getting those achievements whenever I do finish them. And I'll not go through it like every single book that I've read so far and like the ones I need to read, because I don't know, maybe I would like to do a separate kind of video on that. But maybe 3 that I'll mention. War and Peace. I do still need to read War and Peace by the end of the year. And I just know I'm going to end up doing what I did with Les Miserables, and I'm going to end up waiting until Christmas and New Year to read it. That'll be really fun. But then again, I actually might change it out for the Count of Monte Cristo, because I want to do the Count of Monte Christmas instead. So I might change it. I might change it. And I'm allowed to do that because it's my reading. I also really want to get to the Malazan Book of the Fallen books as well. I said I wanted to read the first 3 books this year. I'm still very hopeful that I'll do that. I'm starting to lose hope that I will because I do want to do a proper dedicated spoiler-filled vlog on those 3 books. But the more time that's going on, the more I'm like, maybe I might just like tackle it one by one. Maybe do a separate spoiler vlog for each one. Maybe, I don't know. I really don't know about that. But I do still really want to do that. And To Shape a Dragon's Breath, I don't know if it's anywhere near me where I can just grab it off the shelf or what have you. See, now that I've changed all of my books around, it used to be on that shelf. It used to be like right there. And now I don't know where it is. Because I've changed everything. It's all the way up there. Yeah, it's all the way up there. By Monique Blackgoose. Yeah, I'm not standing up again. I'm so sorry. But that one is a main priority for my 26 books to read in 2026 as well. So the last 4 questions are going to be focused on my YouTube channel. So question number 15, what is your favorite video that you've made so far this year? For me, it personally has to be the High School Musical 2 vlog. Yeah, it just brought me so much joy. Just being there, being at the actual inn at Entrada where they filmed High School Musical 2 back in 2007. Like, just being there was an absolute dream come true, and I had so much fun. I had to overcome so much social anxiety to dress as like the characters in public and, you know, recreate some of the music songs from it. And so that was just a great time. I really enjoyed the way that I edited the video too. I think it came together very well. So I love that one. I also really love doing the TBR Traders episodes as well. That must be my favorite new series because I can really like throw my all into just reading these books and having a little bit of stakes in the background as well. Because you know me, I love stakes, both the food and the actual stakes. So I really have loved doing the first 2 episodes of that, and I cannot wait to do episode 3, by the way, which I will be doing very, very soon. And I already have an idea for the introduction of it, and it's just gonna be great. It's gonna be great. And then also I'm really proud of the upcoming Vlogs of Halloween videos that I've filmed so far. So I have filmed the vlog at the Scream House, filmed that back in March, and it has been up for early access for my channel members since March, and it's still not coming out for another couple of months. And then I have just recently finished filming and editing and getting up for early access as well my underground cave vlog, the going 1,375 feet below ground to read horror. So that vlog came together pretty well as well. I had some issues with like the audio and things like that, but I think that I managed to fix things and make it, you know, look pretty good, like the end result look pretty good. So I'm very proud of how that one turned out too. So yeah, maybe those ones. Question number 16, which video did you think would flop but did well? Honestly, the Cards on the Table vlog. You know, I hadn't filmed an Agatha Christie video in nearly 3 years. Like, it had been 2.5 years. I wasn't loving filming Agatha Christie videos anymore at the end of 2023. I did Halloween Party, and then I was like, okay, that's it. I'm just going to do the solve-alongs with my channel members, and that's it. Like, I don't want to do videos on it anymore. I wasn't enjoying it. But then, at the start of 2026, and this was before like other YouTubers like came back and did like the Agatha Christie videos as well. I just want to say that, I just want to point that out. But I did upload my Cards on the Table video before anyone else started doing Agatha Christie videos again this year. I'm just saying. So it's not that I hopped on a trend. I promise. I made the trend. I'm kidding. But the Cards on the Table video, I had a moment before I even started filming where I was like, I might just scrap this. I might just scrap it. I don't think I want to do it anymore. But then when I uploaded the video, oh my God, it's got nearly like 100,000 views so far. It's got nearly 100,000 views. And that was like my best performing video in years. In years. Other than, you know, the recent drama. But like, in terms of BookTube, I was like, oh my God. Like, it just blew up out of nowhere. That's amazing. And I almost wasn't going to do that video, seriously. And I didn't think it would do that well. I thought it would do okay, because again, like my previous Agatha Christie videos did okay. But then I uploaded the Cards on the Table video, and then my older Agatha Christie videos started taking off as well. And they got like tens of thousands of views too. So they like got majorly bumped up too. So yeah, that was crazy. Question number 17. Any upcoming videos you're excited to make? Honestly, I have too many to name. And there are some vlogs of Halloween videos that are coming up that I'm genuinely really excited to make. In fact, I have another one I'm going to be filming in about 19 days from now. And I'm just so excited for it. You have no idea, so excited. So I can't really say those plans just yet. It is July, and at the end of August, so like it's only like the end of next month, where I'm going to reveal these plans to you. So not long to wait to find out what they are, but I'm definitely bigging it up as well. It's my favorite time of year. It really is, and it always reinvigorates my passion for making videos, and it reminds me why I do this as well, because I need to have as much fun as possible doing it too. So yeah, I'm just so excited. I'm excited for those. And I'm also going to be doing... No, actually, I'm not going to say it. This is going to be a different like video thing, but you know, I'm just not going to say it, and you're just going to find out when it comes out. And then finally, question number 18, any channel goals by the end of the year? And yes, definitely, especially since after some recent developments with some drama things, I would like to stay out of YouTube drama 100%, but also I just want to make sure that I remain independent. You know, I would like to retain my identity, not change who I am, and just remain truthful to myself. And that does mean just filming videos that I love to make, even if I think they'll do well or not do well. Just stick to my morals. That's just all I need to do. And there was definitely a hard lesson learned recently, 100%, but it was a lesson that I think I needed to learn, and I'm going to be able to move forward with a bigger understanding of where I want to be with my channel and what the next steps are for that. So yeah, lots of things I've learned. Another like kind of goal by the end of the year as well is hang out with my booktube friends more. One thing I loved about June, I mean, June was a hit or miss month for me. I'm just going to say it. It was a very tough month, but also like the bright lights of that month was actually hanging out with booktube friends, because, you know, I did the tarot readathon and I did gameathon as well. And I managed to like do some like live shows for the tarot readathon, and I managed to join Deja, for instance, for the very first one, and getting to hang out a little bit and being social. But then also recently doing gameathon, like the gameathon weekend, and I was in like everyone's sprints for that weekend, and I love the co-host for that too. You know, we are really good friends, but the thing is, it takes so long for us to be able to reconnect and do live shows, because all of us are busy, all of us live in different time zones. But like to be able to like hang out with friends, for instance, and just like doing like reading sprints and live shows with friends, honestly, so good. And yeah, doing the Live Dead book club as well a few months ago, that was a fantastic book club. I loved it so much, that Kayla hosted. And yeah, being with like Jordan and McKenna for that one too. Oh my god, like that was such a fun thing to do. So I'd love to remain being social this year and just like hanging out with my friends more, like my booktube friends more. And I do get to see Jade and Steph, for instance, in person like quite a few times. So like I get to like not only hang out with like my booktube friends online, but also in person too. And I'm so excited. Steph's getting married at the end of this month. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. But yeah, and I also have plans for like other friends as well. Maybe like G as well, for instance, from Book Roast. I don't want to say too much about that either, but you know what I mean. I just like hanging out with friends and just like, just being social again. Yeah, that's another goal, is just being social. Even though like sometimes the socialness takes it out of me, it does. I do have a battery, but that would be amazing. So yeah, that was my mid-year book freakout tag. I did change a few questions and didn't answer a few that was part of the original tag as well. But thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to leave this video a like if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you haven't already. Leave all the comments down below. Let me know your favorite books of the year so far, your worst books of the year so far, any goals that you have. That would be amazing. Maybe answer the questions yourself if you want to. Genuinely would not mind. I would love to chat to you down below. I want to give a huge thank you to my channel members for support my channel. If you'd like to join my channel membership, then the link is in the description box. But yeah, I hope I will see you in the next video. Bye.